Alright, so a couple of weeks ago, I made a video showcasing every single official Willy'S Wonderland comic cover. However, I made a mistake. Turns out there were even more official Willy'S Wonderland comic books that I didn't even know existed. So that's what this video is going to be about, going over the 4 additional Willy'S Wonderland comic books that I didn't even know of. However, before we take a look at the new Willy'S Wonderland comic books, let's do a quick recap of the ones I covered in the previous video. To refresh your memory, here's the first Willy'S Wonderland comic book cover that we got revealed. This is the one that we got back in the end of June of this year. As you can see, it features every single animatronic minus 90, and you can see an audience of people there, as well as Willy holding a decapitated head. This is not my third time covering this cover, so we're going to move on quickly. If you want to hear my thoughts on it, make sure to check out my other videos on it. As I've previously stated, there are going to be multiple variants for each issue of the Willy'S Wonderland Prequel comics, and this is one of them for the first comic. I'd assume that the only difference is going to be the cover art, however there may be some additional pages or something inside. We'll get those answers whenever the comics release. Anyhow, as you can see here, there's Willy and Ozzy, lots of gore, you can see my thoughts in the other video as well. And here we've got the final variant of the first issue. As you can see, we've got a limited edition collector's edition of the first cover. This cover shows the exact same image as the teaser video, which came out before the movie did, which showcased each character individually. Of course, you can hear my thoughts on it in the previous Willy'S Wonderland video. And that concludes all of the variants for issue 1, and then in the previous video, this is the final cover that I took a look at, this being the main cover for issue 2. So this is a totally different comic, this is not a variant, this is a totally different comic. So you can see, it features Tito and Gus, of course, in a bunch of gory mayhem. And that's where I stopped in the last video. That's all of the comics that I covered in the last video. However, there are actually 8 Willy'S Wonderland comics as opposed to 4, which means in the last video I had only covered 50% of all of the Willy'S Wonderland comics. Alright, so now let's take a look at the additional 4 books that I didn't take a look at in the previous videos. Alright, so first new cover, which I have not yet covered, is this one. This being a variant of issue 2. This being, again, another limited edition, slasher time, as so it's called, variant of issue 2. So again, this cover is in a very similar vein to the first variant, limited edition one, that being the Willy one. It's basically the same thing. It's again showing the, picture from the old teaser videos back in January, showcasing each of the animatronics. So you could see it's like the cartoon Ozzy, and it's being ripped off to reveal the creepy animatronic version. This cover is like almost the exact same one as the Willy one. As you can see, it's the limited edition variant, except it's for issue 2 instead of issue 1. It's twice the price again, and instead of it being Willy, it's Ozzy. It's the exact same format. So yes, it's basic, but it does look very, very nice indeed. And I'm going to make sure I get it for sure, because I'm actually going to try and collect every single comic, including the variants, because as you're going to see later on, some of them are extremely rare. So this is going to be like a full-on collection in which I'm going to try and complete, and it definitely will be quite difficult. See, it's just like the Willy one, this one is a limited edition, so it's only going to be around for a certain amount of time. So if you want to get this specific cover one, try get it as soon as possible. Of course, none of these Willy'S Wonderland comics are out yet, but when they do come out, if you want to get this specific one, try get it as soon as possible, because once they're out forever. Alright, so up next, we've got cover B for the comic number 2. So cover A was the one with Gus and Tito. Cover C was the limited edition variant, which consisted of the Ozzy poster one, which we literally just looked at. And now we've got cover B. There's no photo for it yet, but of course we know it exists because of this listing. This is on a website called Forbidden Planet. It's a UK site, so this is where I'm probably going to be getting most of my Willy'S Wonderland comics. I don't have all of them on there. They don't have the super rare ones, but they do have all like the regular ones, including the 2 limited edition poster ones, so that's awesome. So as you can see, this one's only £3, due for release 24th of November. Remember, the prequel number 1 comic comes out on the 31st of October, so that's not very long at all, and that's really exciting. So you can see all the detail on there, comics and graphic novel, etc. and then the publisher and all that. Nothing really to talk about here, because it is just the image is not available yet, and it's just the listing for it. Haven't got the photo of it yet, so whenever we do get more of the photo reveals, there are a couple that we're going to look at that don't have the cover reveals yet. So when the 2 of those do get revealed, I probably will come back and do another video on these comics. And this seems to be the final version of issue 2. So as you know so far then, we have 3 versions of issue 1 and 3 versions of issue 2. We've got the main cover ones, a cover B, and then cover C's, which are both limited edition poster versions. Alright, so we don't have any cover reveals or confirmation yet for an issue 3. However, we have got some more additional variants, which are extremely rare. So firstly, we have the Willy'S Wonderland extremely rare Century edition of issue 1. So as you can see, this is the exact same as the main cover for issue 1. However, it's in a black and white variant, and it's labeled as the Century edition. Now, this one is extremely rare, and the reason for it is because this one, whilst the main one has a retail price of like $5, from where I found it at, this is $30. This is 6 times the price for this super duper rare variant. And the thing is, this is limited to only 100 copies. Only 100 of these are ever going to be made, and once those 100 are gone, that's them gone for good. So this is an extremely rare find. This one is going to be like almost impossible to get, and I will be extremely thankful if I actually manage to find this one. This one is going to be so rare. It's probably going to sell out very quick, because there's only going to be 100 of them, whilst for the other covers there's probably going to be like thousands upon thousands of them made. This one is limited to just 100, and that's it. Only 100 of these are going to be made, and that's it forever. So this is going to be an extremely rare find. So if you happen to get your hands on this one, you are extremely lucky, because not only does it have like a 6 times the retail price as the original one, it is also limited to a very, very little amount of prints. To conclude this video, we've got just one more cover to look at, and again, it doesn't actually have the cover, so we really just have the listing to go off of. But as you can see, this is again another variant of the first issue, and this one is labeled as a Willy'S Wonderland Prequel #1 hand-drawn sketch cover. Now, we haven't got the cover yet, but what I'd assume this is, you know, it probably won't be the Ozzy and Willy one, as there's already been a Century variant of that, so it's probably going to be the one that showcases all of the animatronics minus 90, you know, that one. It's probably going to be a variant of that, and it's probably going to be like an early version of it before it was fully complete. It's probably going to be like an early sketch version of it, and as you can see here, this one is even pricier. This one is $40. So again, this one is like 8 times the price for this variant. So again, this is a super rare collector's edition of it, and it's probably going to be limited to a very little amount of covers. Now, I don't know that, but I'd assume it probably will be if the Century edition is limited to only 100. What if this one happens to be limited to like 50? You know? Who knows? But anyways, this one again is going to be an extremely hard find, and as you can see as well, it says in shops on December 22nd, 2021, so just before Christmas. Isn't that neat indeed? It'd be awesome to get that as a Christmas gift, wouldn't it? Especially considering it's most likely very much so rarity. So yeah, there you have it. There's all of the Willy'S Wonderland comics. There's a lot of them. That's 8 of them. Now, we haven't got any covers for an issue 3 yet, and I do hope an issue 3 does happen to exist. It probably will. I can't remember if he said there would be, but there may be. I can't recall. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.